Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. We're having a look at Earthion because the Steam version has received an update. It's been updated to version 2.0.1. So why not? Let's have a look. And I wanted to play this game, and I'm playing the Steam version today. I know I am primarily known for FPGA gaming, and yes, I love FPGA gaming. And the reason I wanted to do this video is in live chat, tell me what you guys think, right? Because there's a variety of different opinions. Now, I believe in supporting the developer of this game because it's a freaking awesome game. No ifs, no buts. The game is a masterpiece. And I'd arguably say, I know some people like to say different shmups are better on the Mega Drive. For me, this is the best shmup on the Mega Drive. Yes, there was good ones like Thunder Force 3, Hellfire was another one. Then there was some vertical ones as well. But I bought this. I bought this on Steam, wanting to play this on the Mega Drive. So when I initially got this, I was a bit gutted. When I saw the game.bin in there, I was like, yes, the ROM is in there. And then you know, you were able to decrypt it using a toolkit. I was initially going to share that toolkit, but then I saw how much controversy was out there, and I thought I'm not going to share this toolkit because the developer really wants to only push the Steam version. So my personal opinion, look, he can do whatever he wants. It's his game or it's their game. They can do whatever they want, but you know, a lot of us were excited for this because it was a Mega Drive game. Me personally, I wanted to buy the ROM. I wanted to play it on my MiSTerFPGA. I wanted to play it on my Analog Pocket, even an emulator via RetroArch or something. So I wanted the option there. So naturally, when the option came to be able to decrypt the ROM, I wanted to decrypt it to use it myself. Now, yes, like most people, I can go on the internet and find stuff once it's been leaked, but that's not what I'm about. When it comes to supporting indie developers, now I'm not a rich guy, but I will buy a few indie games. In fact, if I look at the games, the retail games I buy for a whole year, I don't often buy AAA games or like new games. You know, I might buy like a Monster Hunter game, which I haven't even played. I'll buy every single Street Fighter game that comes out, and then I'll buy a whole bunch of indie games, right? Some Metroidvanias, some 2D platformers, that arcade thing, because I want to support them. So I wanted to support Yuzo Koshiro. I did. I supported him with my wallet, but it's, you know, when you're into your retro gaming, and I don't have a Mega Drive around, I would have been even more tempted if I had the Mega Drive. So instead, I had the next best thing. I had the MiSTerFPGA, and the ROM ran on that. Now, I have to say, I've tried the decryption kit that was used for decrypting the original ROM. The one that pretty much everyone used that had it. It just sucks that people would upload this to places like Archive. But it's the internet, it's inevitable. I really feel like the developer should have actually, I mean, maybe in hindsight, they're thinking, you know what, maybe we should have actually released the ROM, right? Who knows what agreements they've got in place. They're working with different companies. They've got different partners and stuff that they're working with, right? So it may not be as straightforward as we would like to imagine, right? And I can appreciate that, but you know, many people out there would have paid the ROM. People I spoke to personally, there's many people that I know that have bought the Steam ROM even after they knew the existence of this being leaked on the internet. They went out, they said, now Pixel, I bought the ROM, I'm supporting this. And you could see their interactions on social media. They were speaking, you know, speaking directly to Yuzo Koshiro, saying, look, I've bought the ROM. Some were even sharing screenshots of their actual purchase on their Steam page, saying, you know what, this is, I bought it, I'm supporting you, but heck, if it's available to play on my EverDrive Pro or using my EverDrive Pro on the Mega Drive, that's what I'm going to do. If it's available to play on the MiSTer or the Analog Pocket, wherever you want to play it, that is what I'm going to do. So what do you guys think? So we've got a bit of chat. Yo, Anime, how you doing? Dotexi 555, okay. Bass Mustache Pro, like that name. Super duper. Okay, so they should release an expanded version of the physical release Easy Fix. I'm getting the Switch and Genesis copies of this. Absolutely superb. Guys, also, are the voice levels okay? Because there's one thing that's annoying about this game when you're streaming is it's not made for multitasking. Now, I've got a second monitor set up, right? I usually have an ultra wide one. I thought, let me do a second one, run it full screen on the second one. But as soon as I click anywhere off the screen that's not Earthion, it will just pause Earthion and it will kind of break the flow of the stream. So I'm kind of bound to where I've stuck this. Now I've stuck the volume levels where hopefully the volume levels are okay and you can hear me. But what else was I going to say? There were some other points I was going to make. Okay, so when it comes to cartridges, right? So when it comes to cartridges, maybe voice sounds good. Thank you very much. Oh, good. Our game is fairly quiet. Okay, I can see the game levels kind of all right-ish. Okay, that's good. As long as the game levels not overpowering my voice, we are dandy, right? So here's the thing about physical cartridges, guys. There are so many games that are out. There are ROMs that have been out for decades, right? And then all of a sudden, a run comes of that game and you can buy the physical version again. They'll do a new version of it, right? Okay, so they've done a new version of Doom off of the Super Nintendo. For the Mega Drive, they've released stuff like the, Demons of Astroborg, which was available as a Switch game before, and it was available as a ROM. The Bitmap Bureau have proven very, very successful in selling their ROMs. So sometimes the ROMs are available, right? They're available for weeks, months, years even, right? And then a cartridge comes out. A lot of people still buy the cartridge. The collectors that want cartridges, I know people that love physical media. They just want to buy that physical media because they want it. I'm not that guy. I'll always buy ROM. If you release something, I'll buy the ROM. The only thing that I collect somewhat is like Game Boy games. And I've covered Game Boy games before. And the indie developers have said to me, Pixel, please let us give you a physical game. But I say to the indie developers that, look, I don't want a physical game. Thank you for the ROM. I've used it to do the review. Like, I'm grateful for it, but you're an indie developer and I don't want to take that game out of your pocket, that money out of your pocket, because it's cost you money. You know, and because I really like the Game Boy, I speak to a lot of indie developers for the Game Boy. When they make a physical release, they just want to give me the game as a gesture. But I'm not into it. But some people are the opposite. They want that physical collection. Oh, by the way, I don't have a single box Game Boy game. I've only got loose carts that I bought from boot sales and just kind of gathered some from around. A friend of mine gave me a couple when he kind of like found his Game Boy clearing some stuff out. Let's have a look at chat and we will run this game. So I will be getting the Genesis, so we saw that. Got the Steam version, but we'll only play it on the MiSTerFPGA. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will do that. Now, I have to say, and I don't mean to sound bad or anything here, because I properly respect Yuzo Koshiro, have done, man, for a number of years. But for a gaming company that's releasing a niche product, which is kind of like you're pushing it as a Mega Drive game. Obviously, you're releasing it for Steam and everything as well. But, you know, to look in the Steam version, look at the local files, and just to see that you've got a game.bin folder in there, pretty much anyone that can decrypt stuff or has a little bit of knowledge is going to say challenge accepted, right? And that's going to happen. So it's a little bit of you know, not reading the situation, not reading the room, not anticipating correctly that someone is going to get it out there, you know. And I'll say to everyone, if you are playing this ROM, you should really own the Steam version, because that's the only way you can get it at the moment. I know someone will go, well, I've ordered the Switch version, the PlayStation version down the line. They're not available. If you're playing it, support the guy. Support stuff like this, because we definitely want to see more games. So, you know, for me personally, decrypting it and playing it on the MiSTer will be the right way. But I have to say, whatever emulator they're using here is absolutely superb, guys. It's a great emulator. I'm having a great time with this. It looks great. Look at that parallax scrolling there. Look at the clouds, man. Seriously, some people will say you got your head in the clouds. Yeah, maybe I have. Now, I would love to bring up the patch notes, but if I bloody bring up the patch notes, you know what happened? The game will just not freeze, but I'll get that the window coming up saying, oh, by the way, you know, blah blah blah, you're out of the game. You know the options you get when you press, you get this come up. Hold on. You get this come up anytime I kind of leave the game, and I don't want to do that, right? But I'll read you out the patch notes. So the patch notes from the 4th, which was yesterday, of August 2025. So updated Earthion game to version 2.0.1, which fixes in-game bugs. Fix Windows icon on program. Fix Steam language detection. Now, I've got to say, this is really, really funny. It said it fixed the Steam language detection. Guess what? When I booted up this game after updating it, it was all in Japanese, and I kind of had to flick through. I mean, I could have used Google Lens, but I flicked through trial and error until I found the thing where I flicked it and it went from English to Francis to whatever other language until I got it down to English. So it detected my language as Japanese. Like, everything on my computer is pretty much UK English. I don't know why it did that. It definitely detected the wrong language. Right, then it says, oh, okay, I'll cut out some of that. So it says, fixed crash when using integer screen scale and reducing window size. And it's got another word after that, but sorry, the way I've set up my windows, that's cut out a little bit. So then input system selection, Steam input, raw input setting is now preserved. Keyboard configuration has been refined. So fixed difficulty achievements not being triggered. Fixed numerous audio issues. Okay, good stuff there. Then it says Earthion version 2.01 patch notes. Okay, is that the same one? Okay, fixed issue of sub-weapons becoming unusable. I never experienced that myself. Fixed issues of sub-weapons occasionally not displaying correctly. Fixed issue of game freezing after inputting password. Fixed issue of sound effects not playing after selecting continue. Adjusted enemy bullets to become easily or more easily visible. That's a welcome feature, right? Now someone mentioned that maybe the bullets were a little hard to look at, but guess what? We are all old farts, right? What's the youngest person on stream now? Come on guys, disclose your ages in stream. I'm going to take a guess and say the youngest person we're going to have here is no younger than 35. 35 is going to be like the bottom of the floor, right? And the ceiling is going to be like 55. So we're all old farts, and when we're playing these games, we want the bullets to be a little bit more visible, and they've done that, right? They've compensated for our old guys, you know, knuckle shuffling when we were younger, and I don't know, bad diet or whatever. Our vision is going, right? So that's cool. And then it says adjusted 3 pixels in the second half of stage 2. Probably would have noticed that with my eyesight, but start can now be pressed when selecting continue. Okay, cool. I didn't really think of it any other way, but hey, maybe I have to press a button. Can skip countdown. Yes, I noticed that straight away. When I was playing this earlier, I've seen the countdown a few times now, and when I press start, it skipped it, which is really good, because if you're playing it for the like 500th time, you may not want to see that. And then the final thing here, added 2 more challenge modes. Okay, that's really interesting. That's a decent update. Now, hey Alan, how you doing? And Geoff Ruby. So 13, get out of it, Geoff Ruby. Yeah, you're too young to be on YouTube. Kick him out. No, don't kick him out. He's definitely lying. What's the other thing I was going to say? There was something I was going to mention, but holy man, I keep forgetting stuff. I'm telling you, I'm getting old and getting tired. Well, aptly, I got the Steam version and will buy the car, but not releasing the ROM was silly. Yeah, so, that's what I was going to say. So, okay, so I get it. Yuzo Koshiro, Ancient, they want the cartridge version to be completely bug-free, right? But that doesn't excuse not releasing the ROM, right? Because if you're only releasing the ROM, it means once you've purchased the ROM, say you give it free with Steam, right? You can always give an updated version of the ROM, right? Like we have now, because now the ROM's updated, the decryption kit didn't work on it, right? So you can always update it. It's only when you're going to print it into a cartridge do you think, you know what, now it's bug free, we'll print it on cartridge. So you can still do that. For example, look, we know, like, so Streets of Rage 2, yes, I owned it for the Mega Drive. I don't know where my copy is now. In fact, I don't even know where my Mega Drive is, where it went. Probably gave it away to younger cousins or something. But you know what? Like, Streets of Rage 2 was available in like one of them Sega collections you can buy on Steam. And when I was doing like a ROM hack of it, I can't remember what it was. It was like a new version of the Streets of Rage 2 that uses the ROM, and it gives it all widescreen, and it adds some really nice features. And in their kind of readme, it said, oh, you can buy Streets of Rage and get the ROM from the Sega collection. And I thought, you know what, that's a brilliant idea. And I actually purchased that one straight away. I was like, you know what, let me buy it on Steam. And the ROM was in there. It wasn't encrypted. It just worked. I got to use it, and that was cool. And, you know, that's my humble opinion. That's what I feel. Now, I don't, you know, I'm not like saying anything. I don't want to sound derogatory, anything negative towards Yuzo Koshiro. You know, businesses, when you're making stuff, you make decisions, right? And stuff like that actually happens. So, yeah, I just really wish the ROM was decrypted from the word go. I personally don't really think it's gonna affect the sales, because people love this stuff so much they'll buy it. A lot of people that pirate stuff won't necessarily buy the game anyway. And I have to say that if I've ever borrowed a game off the internet, it's really to test it out, and then I'll buy it. I'll be like, okay, this is actually decent, and I'll buy it, and I want to add it to my Steam library or wherever it's available from, right? Not saying that I've done that, but if I was to do that, that's what I would do. If I ever tested a game, or if I borrowed the game off a friend, I would test it and go, okay, you know what, I want to add this to my library. A friend of mine actually said to me, you know, do you want access to my Steam library? And that friend's in another country, and I couldn't do the family thing because I've got the Steam family set up with my kids, so they've got access to all the games I've got. I don't play a lot of games on Steam, so they can rinse out whether they want. But I couldn't add my friend, he's in another country, and he said, look, I'll give you access to my account, but I kind of like my account. I like everything that I've got on there, and I like keeping it all for myself. You know, I don't know what it is about Steam. I just like decent games being added to my collection. Oh my god, guys, we got a celebrity in the house. 16 bits and bobs, man. This guy is wicked. He is a Sega King. Absolutely love you, my G. Wicked. So guys, check out his channel. If you ever watched Games Master in the UK, right, this guy has nailed it, man. He becomes Games Master. I've watched it several times. Guy is wicked. The energy he's got. I think I saw a video where he went to buy a game, and I can't remember if it was like 3 in the morning or something, and he was super hyper, man. The guy is freaking awesome. A very, very genuine guy. Like him a lot, man. Really, really do check out his channel. But shall we give this a play? Because I feel like I've waffled enough. But guys, start your conversation in there. Talk about what you think. You know, do you think it should only be on Steam and no one should look at the ROM, but the ROM is there for the taking? It's like, having the ROM there, right, is the equivalent of leaving a 5-year-old in it with a cake around him, and you've got like some kind of box around the cake, right? And that 5-year-old is gonna try and get to that cake no matter what. They're gonna try and get to that cake, and if they can't, they might consult their little friend, right, and be like, hey, you know what? Like, we need to get this cake, and they get the cake, right? I mean, if a sensible decision, in my opinion, would have been if you had like a native Windows port, right? You had a native Windows port, which was in an exe, and it had no sign of a ROM in there, right? It was just running in a completely different format without an emulator running an encrypted ROM, right? If you had that, then no one could have got the ROM. Now, you know, it's happened, it's out there. I don't think it's going to affect sales immensely or anything, especially when it comes out for consoles, and especially when the cartridges come out. The cartridges, whenever, tell me a time something decent has released on a cartridge and it's not sold out. It's very, very difficult to get, man. Very, very difficult to get. Well, I had to borrow that Saturn. There you go. Was that what it was? Sorry, it's been a while, 16 bits and bob, man. Really, really good channel, guys. Check it out. Click on his name. Guys, also, we're giving away a MiSTerPGA on the channel, man. Sorry, not on the channel, on our brand new website called Metal Game Solid. It's a website where we're trying to cover everything FPGA gaming, retro, and all kind of related gaming. As long as it's cool and it's the kind of stuff that we'll like, we're going to cover it on there. And we're also looking for contributors. So if you're passionate about something, you know, we can get you to submit an article. We can go through it, maybe give it a final edit if it needs a touch up, and print it. But we're doing a lot of giveaways. We just finished an Analogizer giveaway. And now we're giving away a MiSTerPGA. So there's a link in the description. And yeah, join it, man. I mean, it's very, very simple. There's no tricky questions or anything. Enter it, we'll spin a wheel. If you win yourself a MiSTerPGA. Got to give a shout out to Takyudon, man. Super awesome guy, man. Really, really good. Super busy, but you know, anytime I speak to him or anything, even if he gets back to me a lot later, he always gets back to me. And he has donated generously a MiSTerPGA SD-RAM bundle for us to give away in order to kind of get our website, you know, to get our website more known. So really, really do appreciate that. We've actually got 6 total giveaways planned, right? So there's a lot of people have been generous to us in that. So we're going to do more, right? What's up? Unloved Homie, yo, how you doing, man? Unloved Homie is into the competition. So guys, into the competition, man. Let's have a look. Earthion isn't available on eShop. No, it's not. Oh, okay. It's not. So it was really weird, Commander Keen. What was really weird with this as well, it wasn't there to pre-order on Steam. I remember checking it multiple times. I was like, let me see what the price is. And I said to myself, if it's above £30, I'm not going to buy it, right? I'm not rich, and I feel guilty. Like, my kids asked me for the game, The Crew Motorfest, my 2 boys. One is 9, one is 11. So I set them a task. I said, this is what you need to do. And academically, they're very, very good. They smashed their tasks like within 24 hours. I gave them 3 days to do it. So, you know, I'm like, okay, why am I going to buy myself 1 game? And I'm being tight buying my sons 2 games, right? I'm not a big fan of Ubisoft, but they wanted the Crew Motorfest to play with their friends. So I was like, all right, you know what? Right, okay, so yeah, so I bought them that game. So for £30 I would have felt guilty, but £15 it was a no-brainer. LSD, my buddy. All right, so what we're doing here, we've realized, right? So I know one of the rules of the competition is that don't double dip, don't put in there twice, but we do realize that the website that we're using, at least for the moment, if we can get it turning over something, or we get a sponsor, we get something that brings in a bit of income, we can put that money towards getting a better back end, a better server. So we do realize that sometimes comments, when you submit one or you press the button again, they'll come up as duplicates. You can see it straight away because the timestamp's exactly the same and it's the same comment repeated. So what we're doing, because we can see it's genuine people and it's a bit of a blunder, so what we do is we're actually deleting that on the back end. We're just deleting it so you guys are in with a chance. But if we see someone that's leaving a comment and an hour later they decide, oh, you know what, I'm gonna leave another comment, yeah, then they're gonna be disqualified, right? But there's honest mistakes, and we don't want people to suffer for that mistake. We don't want you to suffer for it, because we understand, right? And you may not even know that you've double dipped, right? I mean, I spoke to someone that entered before that I know really well, and I know they didn't do it on purpose, and I said, look, you've double dipped, delete your comment. They managed to delete their additional comments. So, you know, we are very, very reasonable with what we do. You know, end of the day, we're humans. Sometimes systems aren't correct. Sometimes things just happen, right? Anyway, let me play this, and now let me give this a quick play. What we do is I'll play it not on easy today, yeah, because like Pixel has finally like grown some balls, right? Right, okay, so here we go. Oh, we should check out the new challenge modes as well. We're gonna play it on normal because I am leveling up, right? And what about, so you can skip this now. You couldn't skip it before. Let's try it. No? Oh, here you go. Yeah, we skipped it. So we can skip that beginning part if you watched it for the 500th time. And guys, this game's wicked. Just pick it up on Steam, man. Support the guy. You know, he hasn't released the ROM, but you know, if you really want to get the ROM, you know you're gonna be able to get it. But just support the guy anyway, man. You know, regardless of whether you agree with the decision that the ROM, you know, should have been available, shouldn't have been available. You know, things happen, and you know, I'll say it to anyone out there, that anyone out there that's just downloaded this off the net and isn't actually supporting the release of this game, you know, what are you doing? Because you know, it's only when we get it's only when we get games like this, and people are getting paid for the work that they do, right? That, oh, okay, the bullets are easier to see, but I'm still crap at dodging them, right? It's only after that where people will get the incentive to make another game. They'll be like, wow, you know what? We sold a whole bunch of these games. It's awesome. The community is awesome. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. And I certainly hope that the next project by Ancient, they tackle what we. Oh, I've only got, okay. Yeah, we get like a brawler. You can tell I'm playing now because I'm like more than usual, right? So yeah, the bullets are so much more visible. I'm playing like on a 10-inch screen as well. Just wanted to experiment something with this stream. But yeah, I'd love to get like a, you know, like something like Streets of Rage, but just like a modern one with all the scaling effects, the parallax scaling, the wishy-washy in and out scaling. Just all that stuff there, you know, just with, so remember, like a lot of developers, they've learned new tricks, right? Just the other day, someone showed 4 layers of parallax scrolling on the Commodore 64, guys. How crazy is that? Seriously, oh, I love this flamethrower, man. Look at that fire. Yeah, so we've got, okay, I don't know why, are you noticing all of a sudden I'm getting like a little jitter, I'm getting like a little pause, and I don't know why that's happening. I have no idea why that's happening. It's almost like it's almost like it's freezing there for a second. No idea why it's happening. But guys, yeah, definitely discuss amongst yourselves what you kind of think, right? Of you know, what's your kind of take on this? You know, I mean, if I I'll be completely honest with you. If I managed to decrypt this updated ROM, I would have likely just played this on the MiSTer. Or maybe I just would have thought to myself, you know what? Let me actually just play it on Steam. Look at those effects. Look at that. See, stuff like that was unheard of on the Mega Drive. Now, there's a live stream, interview on the channel with a couple of friends of the channel, Sarumaru and Tater Pants. They're the people behind Ninja, the excellent PC Engine game, right? And it is a superb game, right? So we were talking about this, and they were talking about, rather than it actually scaling, these are just sprites drawn in very, very quick succession, and it creates that scaling effect. And they're able to do that now because it takes up a lot of space. And you know, back then, even Yuzo Koshiro said that cartridges were expensive. So, you know, unless you had a game like Street Fighter 2 that you know was going to sell millions, you couldn't do it for like a little shmup. But obviously you can do that now, which means you can put in all those effects, you know. You can create those scaling effects by just having sprites like smaller, bigger, 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 and then smaller. There you go. That's how terrible I am when I'm playing on this. Saru is a homie for sure. Oh yeah, man. Saru's awesome, man. Really, 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 really nice guys. It was So we've got some really good. So I love doing the live streams. Oh, it even wants my name. I'm so bad. It wants my name. Right, let's put that in there because hopefully it will save it on the Steam version. Can't remember, but yeah, we've got. So if you look at the upcoming live streams, I'll mention another one that we've got planned for. I think it's the 20th of September now that we've kind of penciled in the date. Stuff is subject to change sometimes. So we've got the next one. We've got Zofa from Zofa's Domain. Remember that website, guys? Early days of the internet emulation and emulation news, and where you could get emulators from. Zofa himself is coming on, and I think that's on the 11th. So that's this coming Monday, right? Yeah, it's this coming Monday. He's going to be on. That's going to be awesome because I'm going to have a lot of questions for him. Then after that, I can't remember the exact date, but it might be like the 28th of August or something. But towards the end of the month, we've got David Shadoff, right? An FPGA core developer, maintains a lot of, does a lot of work for PC Engine and PCFX, reverse engineering, maintenance of cores. And then later on, we have got, Asobi Tech Quang DX, right? Quang DX is awesome. I did a video the other day where they released this kind of puzzle hybrid Bomberman Game Boy game, and guys, it's superb. It's really, really good. Can't recommend the game enough. Very, very addictive. It's the kind of game that you play it, you die, and you know it's not your own fault. So you know that formula is done well. It's got an instant button to restart so you can keep playing without any gaps in between. Absolutely love it. But not only are they releasing Game Boy games, they're actually I can't remember the exact title, but a lead game tech for the Bitmap Bureau. So they're actually working on Terminator 2D No Fate. So that's going to be an interesting one in September. So we've got a lot of stuff planned like that on the channel. And naturally, what I try and do is I try and do like an abridged version of the interview on Metal Game Solid. So definitely check that out. And you know, remember guys, we're doing a giveaway on Metal Game Solid. The link to it is in the description. It should be at the very top, but if not, expand there. Go make an account, show us some love. We're trying to get that one out there. We're trying to get the site out there, and we want it to be. So, for example, if you're a regular on the weekly news video, and all the stories that go in the weekly news video pretty much go on Metal Game Solid during the week, and I use that almost as a reference point when we do the weekly news video. So yeah, definitely check that out. Show us some love. You know, read stuff like the early days of the internet, right? Before we started getting videos, it was all about the text, the articles. I remember before I had the internet at home, getting into an internet cafe and thinking, yeah, I'm going to browse the web. Had no idea what I was going to browse, but hey, it was interesting. Right. Let's hear that speech. So there was a bit of there was some talk actually on social about the use of AI for voices, and then Yuzo Koshiro confirmed that none of the game like the visual assets it was used. He was just talking about using it as like to mess with audio. Now, look, guys, like when it comes to AI, a lot of people are strongly against it. I use AI for my work, for example. For me, it's like an assistant and I have to check all their work, and it makes some very mundane tasks very, very easy. Now, we use Kujira. If you're a musician and there's a way to kind of play about with that and do it and see what you get, then I personally don't have anything against that. But I know a lot of people, I think some people are like, oh, this is no good, I've lost respect for him. No, absolutely not. Fully respect the guy, man. And naturally, you know, even people that dislike AI, they would have tried it at some point or wherever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to make a game or massive pictures or a movie out of it, but sometimes I might want like some art for a thumbnail or part of it. I might use it. Sometimes I might tell it, look, take this big long boring thing and turn it into a quick paragraph for me. So I'm not strictly against the idea of that, and if it was used to kind of change the music somewhat, as long as the music's sounding good for me, I don't have that issue with it. I do have an issue where people are losing their jobs, especially when it comes to like voice acting and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a touchy subject, isn't it? I guess just the same way in which it's a touchy subject that should you decrypt the ROM and play it, right? There's a lot of controversy that starts with all this stuff. Oh, I've noticed Spitfire RAF 100 in the house. How are you doing, buddy? Always good to have you around. Yeah, Zophas, I am so looking forward to that, man, because so here's the thing. I remember Zopher from I remember the site Zopher's Domain, right? In the early days of the internet, when I'm looking for games, I'm looking, you know, I don't know too much about emulation, and I'm looking for stuff. And I remember that site, and there was another one called DG Emu, which used to let you get stuff, but you had like a certain amount of credits that you got, and it reset after 24 hours. So it's going to be really, really interesting speaking to him. It's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. Right, so let's check out what these other challenge modes are in here. Hopefully it's not something we have to unlock. So we got challenges in here, and this is really good because like on the MiSTerFPGA Discord server, they do challenges, and sometimes there's different game modes and they come in handy. Right, okay, so challenge 01, challenge 02. Guys, I am gonna, okay, so they've added 2 more. So I guess initially there was 4 and now there is 6. I haven't tried these yet. I haven't played a lot of these. Guys, guess what, right? So level 3, level 10, I don't even know. I'm gonna go level 3 first. So when you end up doing YouTube and then you end up doing, well, it's a full-time job, YouTube and a website, you know, big shout out to Aleem Tayyab actually, because he does most of the work on the website. Like for every 10 articles he writes, I probably write one. Oh, this is wicked. Love it. Ooh. Yeah, so when you're doing all that stuff, you don't actually have a lot of time for playing games. And that's why I like doing streams. It's like, I feel like it's that social element where I'm hanging out with my friends, because like it or not, right, we've got similar habits. Like I am more friends with you guys in chat than I am with like a lot of my, say, real life friends. And you're probably going to think I'm a bit weird for saying that, right? But the reason that I say that is because a lot of my real life friends, you know, don't get me wrong, there's some that like Street Fighter, there's some that like retro games, but some are like Call of Duty and FIFA, you know what I mean? That's what they do, that's what they play. So they don't have the same interest. They don't understand. They can't tell the difference between an analog pocket and an Ambernic. They won't be able to name you three different models or the 3 different kind of reiterations of the Game Boy, right? You know, the Game Boy DMG, the Game Boy Pocket, actually I forgot about, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance. To them, it's just a Game Boy, you know. 3DS, they'll be, what's that? Isn't that a DS? So, you know, when we're in here, we've got the same interests, right? And that's one thing I feel is great about the internet. I kind of hate the internet, and I hate where technology has taken us to some extent, and I love aspects of it as well. But I love the fact that, for example, like when I was younger, I was really into Street Fighter, and I'm still into Street Fighter, I just don't play it as much. But what did the internet give me? I remember when Shoryuken forums kind of popped up. There was Neo Empire in the UK. So every time I went abroad, I went to Holland, guess what? I linked up with all the Street Fighter players there. I went to Italy on holiday, I met all the Street Fighter players there. And any country I'd go to, I'd go on Shoryuken and I'd be like, guys, I'm going there. Like I wasn't that great, and I went to every country and pretty much got my ass kicked, right? But the internet let us meet those people. When we were younger, we went to the arcade, guys. We actually went to the arcade, and what did we do? We so, oh, am I playing again? Okay, I'm playing again. I was trying to exit. Oh, actually, no, I can just do a reset. That's one good thing about this. So when we were younger, right, when you wanted to play Street Fighter, you had to go to the arcade, and then you would find out that in a different area, 2 miles from where you live, there's another arcade, because someone that went to that arcade or was from that area, their cousin was around in this arcade, and they said, oh, you're really good, you should play this guy there. So what would happen is, through that was your social networking, right? Say, for example, I grew up in Finsbury Park. There was someone in an area called Walthamstow that was good. Then someone would come down to Finsbury Park to visit your cousin, and they'd be like, oh, you guys are really good. There's this guy, his name is, let's just say his name is Melvin. Melvin's really good at it. No one can beat him in Walthamstow. So then what you do is you'd kind of make a day of it. You'd say, okay, you know what, can you hook it up? No mobile phones. You'd call someone's house phone. You'd pick to their mum, hey, Mrs. Melvin's mum, how you doing? Or whatever cousin's mum. Yeah, can I speak to Billy, please? Hi, Billy, how you doing? Yeah, you know, when can we come and meet Melvin? And then he'd go away. He'd sort something out with Melvin. He'd go, Melvin will be there. Can you make it Saturday at 11 o'clock in this particular chip shop or this particular arcade? And then you would go over there, then you challenge one another, then you see who like the best is. You know, don't get me wrong, there was a big element of fun in that as well, man. There was a big element of fun in that. Just to kind of point out, guys, I wasn't one of the best guys. I was all right, I was okay. Sometimes I could get wins against the best, but understand, when I played, especially when I got older, I played with like the best players in the UK and Europe, and I guess rest of the world even, because people would travel around. But back when I was younger, yeah, I wasn't one of the best players. You know, I knew some friends that were really good, and it was interesting to watch them play. So when people went to another area, that's how it went, and it was amazing. So the internet kind of just got rid of that. If you're like, for example, if I play Street Fighter, now, I could go and the internet will tell me about the events, the arcades. I could reach out to someone I've never reached out and say, hey, you know what, you're from this area in Canada. I'm visiting Canada. Do you mind, you know, is there an arcade? Can we meet up? I've met up with people myself that come over to the country. I've taken them to the arcade. We've played some Street Fighter. We've grabbed some food after. So yeah, that aspect of it is really, really good in uniting people, man. But yeah, okay, so right, we've kind of spoke about like your kind of opinions on all of this, but this game's wicked, man. Buy it on Steam, man. So 2 things to take away from here today: buy this freaking game on Steam, man. Just support the guy, even if you've ordered a different version. If you're playing it now, then yeah, you need to buy the game. I'm taking the moral high ground here, and I'm saying buy this game, support it, because we want to see more stuff, right? And then get your cartridge later, and yeah, you know, you'll have your cart later or whatever other version you want to get. And the other thing is, hey man, if you haven't got a MiSTerPie, or you've got MiSTerFPGA, now for anyone out there, guys, the MiSTerPie is on par with the MiSTerFPGA. I was actually the first person to get one out of all the guys that reviewed it. I was just fortunate. I got my delivery a day before, and I was the first person to do an independent test on it. I even done side-by-sides, and it was identical, right? So I've done some side-by-sides with 2 original D10 nanos, one with dual RAM, one with single RAM. So dual SD RAM and single SD RAM, and with the MiSTerPie. And if there were any differences, those differences existed between original DE10 nanos. Let's say you leave like 0.1% as your slippage, right? As the frames might be out 0.1%, right? And they were never out more than that. They were absolutely superb how it was running, man. So the MiSTerPie is superb. You can win it. You do need, so you need a YouTube account, but you're on YouTube. If you're commenting in here, you've got an account, just make sure you're subscribed to my channel. As well as that, you need either a X or a Blue Sky account. Now I understand some people don't like X. Listen, I get it. The world's full of not nice people. We're not very political here, but I get people's stances on stuff. So you can either use the Blue Sky post, follow us on there. Forgot to say like it. Please like it if you can. And then actually retweet that or repost that. And leave a comment on the Metal Game Solid post, the giveaway post, saying what game would you play first if you won the MiSTerPie. And it can literally be anything. I'd love to get some really, really weird games that I've never heard of, but the choices for the most part have been predictable. Crash Bandicoot, Shinobi, love Shinobi, glad you guys mentioned that. Shelf Warmer, I don't know what it is about that name, I really like the name there, man. By the Exit Arcadia, if you really want to support them financially. Unfortunately, I don't have that much money, and Mrs. Pixel will, so she can free hit combo me, and her free hit combo actually starts with a jump in, and that's what I'm talking about. Before I know it, there's a jump in, there's a very late punch, just as my wife jumps up as she reaches like the peak of a jump. I see it, and then just as about she's to touch the floor, she punches me in the head. And the reason she does the punch so late is so she can connect a crouching medium kick to it, and then with some kind of projectile. However, in a retaliatory fight I had with her, I don't know why, but just during a fight, I kind of crouched, I leant forward and I tried to punch her, and a fireball came out of my hands. So there you go, whatever that means. And just for the record, guys, before anyone reports me, that was a complete joke. You know, stepping down, moving forward, or moving diagonally forward and then moving forward again and pressing punch will not make you do a fireball in real life. If that does happen, then consult your medical professional as soon as possible, because that should not be happening. And also, if you walk back for 2 seconds, walk forward and try and do a punch, if a sonic boom comes out or you roll into a ball and go forward, then there is something seriously wrong with you. However, if you did have the powers of Blanca, then I would strongly advise getting a USB port and charging your devices, because the price of bills is too high. Anyway, what the heck am I talking about? Shall we try another challenge? Because I have no idea where I'm going with this. A lot of people say to me, Pixel, what'd you do for your scripts? I say, what scripts? I've literally scripted maybe 5 of my videos for over 1,000 videos that I've done, and I don't like doing them. What I do sometimes is I'll write a list of bullet points, and during my talk, I'll go through the bullet points. But what makes it difficult is I try and do everything in one blast. So if I mess it up, I'll restart the whole thing. And what will happen is sometimes I'll forget if I mentioned the point or not, if that was a previous take. So sometimes I'll completely miss a point I want to say, and sometimes I will actually say the point twice. Claudia Sasha, don't care if the ROM is out. I bought it and I hope Ancient will give us a sequel. This is definitely the best horizontal shoot 'em up on the Mega Drive. So I like that term, shoot 'em up, right? I know we call them shmup now, but shmup wasn't around. Shmup wasn't around like in the late 80s and the 90s, right? It was a shoot 'em up. I remember the games magazines, like Mean Machines was one I used to read in the UK, and it used to say shoot 'em up. Same as people always go crazy at me, right? Whenever I talk about a fighting game and I call it a beat 'em up by action, they go, it's not a beat 'em up, it's a fighting game. You need to get it right. Please understand. Back when, fighting games became popular, like around the Street Fighter 2 era, maybe a little bit before, in the magazines, you had beat-em-ups, which were like Final Fight, and you had one-on-one beat-em-ups, which were like your Street Fighter, your fighting games. Yes, I definitely prefer the term fighting games and beat-em-ups because it's a clear distinction between the two genres. However, sometimes the old school habits come out. I'll be like, yeah, it's a beat 'em up, but I mean like a one-on-one beat 'em up, so yeah, that comes out sometimes. If any of you are old farts like me, late 40s, you might get that. Anyone from the UK, really good magazine called Mean Machines. I think I downloaded like the digital versions of those, but I think that was on an old device, and I'm not one of those that has a NAS and keeps everything. Sometimes I just lose stuff and I have to re-get it. Right, let's give this another play. Maybe we can try a different challenge and see what we can do. Love that we've got the Streets of Rage sound effects there when we look. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's go with this. I tried to jump and nothing came out. Me trying to kick the other guy. Yeah, no, don't do that, man. Don't. Yeah. What else have we got? So I read this really good. This thing on Reddit, right? What's this one here? Challenge 02. So let's do this, right? Level 3. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so we've got different power-ups here. Let's go with this one. So someone was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to say it while I'm playing it, but basically, like someone said, I named my. People were talking about when they did they ever name their children after a video game, right? And a confession here, without identity fraud is no joke, Jim, right? So I'll tell you, my daughter is named after a you could say a video game or anime character, or maybe a combination of the two, but it was an anime first and a video game after. Sorry, I need to shoot it down here, not paying attention. Right, so okay, am I just dead there? Okay, I get another life. Okay, we are good, we're dandy. Yeah, so someone said, there was a thread on Reddit that said, have you ever named your kids after a character, after a video game character? So initially I wanted to name my daughter either Chun-Li or Cammy, but the wife was strongly against the idea. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that she was. And then someone said, you know what? I named my kids after Street Fighter characters, and I can't remember exactly how the joke went, but it was really, really funny. And it said, look, you know, I've called one of them Balrog, I've called one Vega, and I've called one Bison. But it gets very, very confusing because remember the international names were wrong, right? Bison was Vega in the Japanese version, Balrog was Vega. And there you go. So the three were mixed up, right? But internationally, so you're not confusing. Usually when you go to a tournament or anything like that, a lot of times you're playing a Japanese version. Sometimes you play the US version. So you generally stick to Claw for Vega, also known as Balrog. And then for Bison, also Vega, you call him Dictator. And then for Balrog, also known as M. Bison, you know, Mike Bison, rhymes with Tyson, you're called Boxer. And someone says, yeah, the names get confusing if we go to different countries, but I stick to like their internationally renowned names. And that's what you do. You know, generally when you play Street Fighter, it's like Boxer, Claw. And by the way, people hate it when you pick Claw in Super Turbo. He really doesn't have a bad matchup. Doesn't have a bad matchup. Show off warmer. Meet the three stuns, Boxer, Claw, and Dictator. There you go. Absolutely superb. And you know what? Sagat is always Sagat. I think Sagat just dropped in Street Fighter 6. I'm not playing it so much, but a colleague of mine from my old work, so really cool guy. So what I used to do is I used to take my laptop in during COVID when there wasn't a lot of people in. And we used to play, I used to have like, there was hardly anyone in. It was so cool. So I used to have like my Mad Catz Tournament Edition arcade stick, one of them in a cupboard at work. Used to leave my laptop there. And you know what? We used to play Street Fighter 5 there, man. It was before 6 was out. And he's into the newer games. I'm into the older ones. And yeah, man, we just used to play out there. So he's, I really miss the guy, in fact, man. Really, really cool guy. Yo, my Italian stallion, you know who you are. You're probably not watching the streams because you're playing Street Fighter 6, Sagat drop, but I miss you, bro. I do miss you. And yeah, he just messaged me saying Sagat's just dropped. But talking about that, did anyone watch Evo, man? Wow. Spoiler alert, close your ears if you haven't watched the Street Fighter 6 one. But Mena RD and that Blanca. Oh my gosh, crazy. And what was that little, the kid called? There was a 16-year-old kid in there. I think it was called Billy or something, or Mickey. Man, what a killer cami that guy had. I kind of wanted to see him in the final. And I'll tell you what's really amazing was the Capcom versus SNK 2 tournament. So what I saw in that one for Evo, if anyone that's into fighting games here, right? So years and years ago, in like my early 20s, mid 20s, a friend of mine bought the Evo DVDs. This is before you could download them or do anything. He bought the set. And I borrowed them off him and I watched them, right? And I watched these. And back then I was really into Capcom versus SNK 2 and I watched it. Justin Wong, John Choi, Daigo, Margot, Ricky Ortiz, like all the top heads playing. And guys, these guys were young then, right? Justin Wong was like a teenager then. Some of the other guys were around my age, like in their 20s. And guys, these guys, when I say they were tight, they did not drop a combo. We're talking 1 frame, 2 frame links, boom, 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 tap, 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 cancelled into everything. And watching these, it was like you could watch the whole Evo DVD and you would not see a drop combo. Everything was tight. Now in Evo 2025, like John Choi is one of my favorite players of all time. Absolutely love the guy. I just think he's brilliant and very, very respectful as well. I've played against him a couple of times online. Batters you and then says thank you, sir, after he gives you a beating, right? Guy is amazing, right? But you could see age, you know, age is a factor, and also as well as age, not playing, right? Not having the time to just like sit there and practice. I mean, I remember spending hours in practice mode trying to practice like one combo or one setup, and you could see that they were dropping combos. Now, the youngest guy in the CVS2 tournament was actually 47, guys. So not 47, 37. 37 years old. That was the youngest guy. That's a player called Silent Scope. Really, really good player. Has a really good cameo in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And that guy has done a lot for the Capcom versus SNK 2 movement. You know, when it comes to online emulation, Dreamcast, they swapped over to the Nintendo GameCube for a while because the Dolphin emulator is superb, even though it doesn't give you a great version of Capcom versus SNK 2. Then they went back to kind of Dreamcast, and now we've got like the Capcom collection, okay, which has a few flaws, but for the whole part, it is the best way to play it if you don't have access to a Dreamcast. And obviously, you can't play online on a Dreamcast now, so you can play on that. Okay, didn't watch SF6, most of the finals before it. Okay. Yeah, SF6 was all right. You know what? I still need to watch the final. I know Mena won. I was just on the losers final, I think. So I know I'm gonna go into like the main one. But yeah, it's just amazing. We're getting older, so we don't have those reflexes. We don't have the time. You know, my wife's really cool, so you know I do what I need to do, and then I tell her, I was like, babes, are you all right if I stream? And she was like, yep, cool. What's the time? I've got about another 10 minutes before I kind of need to end this. I was like, look, I'll only be an hour. There's this game, Earthion. There's an update. There's, you know, we decrypted the Mega Drive ROM. And she just kind of looked at me and said, yeah, okay, because she's got no idea. The only game she's ever played in her life is she kind of hijacked my DS and played Professor Layton. Absolutely loved that game. And you know what? This is where you feel cool, where your wife's not a gamer and you're in bed and, you know, young, early marriage days then, maybe even before we had kids, or maybe we just had our daughter then. You know, she'd be stuck on a puzzle, and, you know, me being the video games master, I managed to beat every puzzle she ever got stuck on. And, you know, if I didn't, I would have kind of felt gutted, but I managed to do it. So she beat Professor Layton, and now she plays some home designer game on a phone and an iPad, and I think it's absolutely terrible. And she doesn't do the in-app purchases, but I try and tell her to stay away from those games and say, look, take one. I'll buy you a gadget, play a proper game, you know, play Professor Layton, play one of those puzzle games, play Phoenix Wright. They're really, really good. But yeah, she seems to like that home designer game. And then my boys, they're like, oh, mum, can we help with it? And I've told the boys, don't play that stuff. Told my wife, keep them away from that. I don't mind them. They actually play Fortnite, Rocket League, the Crew Motorfest and whatnot. And they do that. The 2D games, that both of them were really good. That was Dead Cells. These boys were killer at it. Absolutely superb. But I'll tell you what's really, really funny, right? My boys, 9 and 11, right? So the 9-year-old comes up to me, right? 9-year-old comes up to me and I'm watching him, and he's shot someone in... So he's got a kill or whatever in Fortnite, and I'm sure it was Fortnite, and he's teabagging someone. He's crouching up and down teabagging someone. Was it Fortnite or was it a different game? I can't remember if he was doing it in, was it Halo? What was it? Halo Infinite. That's one that the youngest one used to play as well. But it was a game, and he was teabagging, and I said, what are you doing? Oh, he said, yeah, Dad, it's a meme. When you like down someone or whatever, what you do is you crouch down and then you get up, and then you crouch down and you get up. But obviously he's 9. He doesn't know anything about, like, you know, the good old teabag or whatever. As I told him, son, don't do that to people. He goes, no, Dad. He goes, like, lots of people do it online. It's like when you cook someone, apparently when you cook someone is when you really beat someone, and the brothers fight with one another saying, I cooked you, and the other one says, I cooked you. But yes, so apparently they didn't know. They don't know what it is, so I try and get them off that. And that's the innocence of being a child, right? You don't understand all this stuff. I still remember, right, Metallica, one of my favorite bands. Megadeth, love the bands. Favorite band of all time, Skid Row. If you're regular on the channel, you know that. Like GNR as well. But Metallica, first time I heard Master of Puppets, right? And it's End of Passion Play coming. Oh, so there's a line in there where it says, chop your breakfast on a mirror, right? I mean, I was so young when that came out that when I heard it and I was listening to it, I didn't know about, you know, narcotics or something like that being consumed on a mirror. I thought, like, James Hetfield, what a geezer. I was like, he has his breakfast, like some omelets, some beans, some bread, maybe some hash browns on a mirror. He's chopping his breakfast on the mirror, you know, he's chopping up those hash browns. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, he can't really press too hard on the mirror because the mirror will crack. And it's pretty amazing how you think of stuff when you're kids, right? You take the stuff literally. It's like if you're a father of if you're a father and your child says to you, Dad, I need to go toilet, and you're in an area where there's no toilet, and you're like, son, don't worry, we're gonna get to a toilet, you know, just hold it, right? And you look over there and you got your child there just grabbing their little wiener, you know, through their trousers, just grabbing it, and you're telling them, you have to explain, not literally, then you got to quickly find somewhere for them to go and relieve themselves. So really, really interesting stuff. So let's give it one last thing. Do appreciate all of you guys stopping by and kind of sharing your opinion on what you guys think of this. You know, what are your thoughts? I know many of you guys, if you're on this channel, you're into FPGA gaming, chances are you are playing the ROM. And I'll repeat it again, support the guys, support this game. And I know many of you guys have. So many people I've spoken to have bought the ROM. In fact, every single person I've spoken to has bought the ROM. So that's superb. So let's give it, you know what, let's give it a run on Hotshot, right? Because pixels are Hotshot, right? And now I can see the bullets. Like this stuff, I see it like Neo from the Matrix. I see it really, really slow. Why? why they eat on a mirror. Yeah, exactly, man. You know, that's the kind of stuff then. And those lyrics, oh look. Okay. Oh, is that reacting to me pressing the buttons, the hands there? Okay. But guys, this is the banger of a game, man. You need to grab this on Steam right now. Just grab it on Steam right now. As to whether, you know, you choose to decrypt it and play it on other devices, that's your choice completely. Me, I've done it, I've tried it, and yes, I thoroughly enjoy it. I also thoroughly enjoy it on Steam, man. I was going to play it on my little handheld PC, to be honest. I always have that in my bag for emergency videos. Right, I'm playing this on the hardest difficulty now because, you know, all those things are fast. Wow. Ooh, damage sustained. My game's freezing, and I don't know why that is. There's people that are really, really good at shmups, man. People can like 1cc this already, and this is before the update that makes the bullets look a little bit easier. You know, I have to say though, shmups are well better played on arcade sticks, man. Oof. Ooh, I thought that was me firing at. That's the ship behind me. You know, love how the... Wow. Oh, so that must have been a friendly ship. What a great game, man. I need to use this screen, man. Maybe if I get a Mr. Multi-System, I'll buy the enclosure that gives it a screen and make that folding one. I'll be the life of the party, man. Take it to a roof party, plug it in, play some classic games. Oof. Oof. Free in the hit. Oh wow, okay, so that's where I got to with the hot shot. This ship, oh yeah, man, I love stuff when you've got scenery like when you've got scenery like that in it's really, really good. Like I was playing what's that new mystical from Wicker Wacker? So it was Metal Black, yeah, Metal Black, right? Really, really cool game. And all of a sudden there was a building in there and there was like a giant insect underneath it. And I went on the other side of the building and I got crushed, man. That's really, really good, guys, by the way. If you check out the video I did yesterday, the links you need are in there. I think it links to a post on Metal Game Solid with all the links laid out there for you. So that's one thing that I'm doing. I'm putting all the links on there because sometimes, sorry, I'm just laughing here. Aleem Tayyab saying the game is freezing because it's begging to be played on Mister. Maybe I don't know why it's freezing. I honestly don't. You know, I'm running it on a 4080 Super with 32 gig of, is it DDR5 RAM? Or I've got like, Aleem Tayyab knows what chip I've got. It's like I can't remember what it's called now. It's the AMD 9800 3DX or something. I can't remember, man. It's a waste of money that I bought this PC. I could have just stuck with my laptop with the 1660 Super Ti or whatever it is, because literally the most powerful game I'm playing is this. I bought it to play Monster Hunter. I haven't even done 10 hours in bloody Monster Hunter, man. LSD, what's he saying, man? He is a supporter of the channel, man. Big love. He supports me over on Patreon. Dude, awesome. Supposedly there is a mini game in the cockpit that only randomly comes up. Oh, so I kind of got the feeling that the cockpit there, when I was pressing buttons, the arms were reacting to it, but I couldn't quite work it out if that was actually correct or not. I was playing on an M30 but switched over to a Hori multi-arcade stick. I feel I'm getting a little more reserved in my movement with a stick. Yeah, I personally feel arcade games, I always feel like I play better on them with sticks, but a couple of reasons for sticks. One, the noise levels are high, are louder when I'm playing on a stick. The mic picks up more click, clackly clacks. On a joypad, it picks up some, but less. And also, a joypad is just a lot more convenient, man. It's really, really cool. But guys, I think I'm going to end it there. We've kind of been doing it for an hour. I'm going to kind of go help my wife. My mum's kind of staying with me at least for the next 2 weeks or so. So I'm going to make sure she's all right to bed. Her dementia's kind of getting worse. A lot of times she doesn't even know where she is. So, you know, I help there, brush her teeth, get ready for bed. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll do either an article or Metal Game Solid after, or then I'll just kind of chill after. But there you go. That's the, yeah, that's the life of responsibility. You know, full-time job, wife, kids, mother with dementia, a YouTube channel and a website. Honestly, sometimes I wake up and I just pretty much work flat out until I go to sleep. but that is a choice. I could choose to do leisure activities, but I like it. I like keeping busy. But guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Right, okay. Yeah, absolutely superb. Final thing before we kind of get out, remember, buy Earthion on Steam. Support the guy, even if you are playing it in a different way. If you're playing it cool, if you're playing it on a different device because you've decrypted your own ROM, yeah, just buy it on Steam, man. Get the sales of this up so we get more cool games like this. I mean, this really is a cool freaking game. And as well as that, final shout out to Metal Game Solid. Check out our brand new website, a website that myself and Anime Otaku are behind. If you ever feel passionate about something and you want to do an article on something that you know a lot about, a particular game, a particular format, guys, we're open to it. You know, we can effectively let you become a guest contributor for a particular article. We're going to be doing lots and lots of giveaways. Currently, we're giving away a MiSTerPi SD RAM bundle. That's all thanks to Takiodon and the guys over at Retro Remake. So good things to come. But yeah, guys, that's it. Got to end the stream here. Be awesome to one another, man. And all of a sudden, you're going to see the menu pop up because that's what happens as soon as I leave the window of Earthion. All right. Be awesome to one another. Wicked. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.